stop and imagine if you went into work one day and your manager told you that you had to try a new position that you've never done before. How would you feel? What would happen in your body, in your brain, physically, if that happened? Or let's say you go into your favorite restaurant and they tell you that the dish that you order every time isn't available anymore. It disappeared. How would you feel? Would you order something different? Would you leave and go somewhere else? Or what if you had to take your next vacation in a country you've never been, a place you've never been, a language you don't know, food you've never tried? How would that feel? How would you feel in your body, like physically? Do you get anxious? Fear? Maybe shaky? Nervous? It's common. So you fear trying new things, right? You fear the unknown. You fear maybe you'll fail and you'll be judged. Well, I'm going to show you a new perspective on this to help. Because I am also currently trying something while I'm talking to you. And you'll see at the end. I've not done this before. And especially not while talking, because I tend to talk with my hands, so I'm challenging myself to focus, multitask here. But you fear the unknown. I'm going to challenge you to think in a growth mindset. So if you want to stop feeling afraid every time that there's a new challenge that you have and you want to grow, then absolutely try to think of it as all new things are unfamiliar until they're not anymore. So everything is different until you get used to it. No one just automatically knows how to do new things, because then it's not new. So I go into trying new things by expecting them to be a little uncomfortable or a little bit difficult. I think sometimes we think that we just have to get everything right the first time, or we're failures. I don't agree with that. Practice makes perfect. And if you think of it in the sense of exciting, right? It's challenging your brain. If you keep your brain engaged, then you're not bored as much. You're growing, you're changing. Practice speaking encouragingly to yourself. Know that there are some cons, right? You might try something new at that restaurant and hate it. And you might think, "Oh, I just wasted my money." Well, okay, but you can't change it now, right? And now you know. Now you know that maybe you didn't like that different thing that you tried. But what if you love it? What if you love it? I mean, what if you allow yourself to be okay with change instead of putting so much energy into it controlling you and getting anxious around it and ruining your day? Because there are pros also. Yes, the cons are it can be a little bit scary and you might feel a little bit disappointed. But know that going in, and know that the reward might be worth it though. You might find a new vacation spot or new hobbies that you love. It's funny how our brains automatically go to the negative, mine included. And it's like, unless you've tried something before, you don't really know if you're not gonna like it, so it's like a 50-50 chance. But instead of letting the fear run the show, if you change your viewpoint on it and know that you're gonna be okay, regardless of if you get a little bit disappointed, like, you're gonna be okay. And remind yourself of that, it kind of takes the fear away. And if you practice trying new things with small, maybe like unimportant things that you don't care as much about, like trying a different style of clothing or perfume or something that you don't normally try, then it's super easy when you get to the big things. Well, I shouldn't say super easy. Not super easy sometimes, but easier. Like the more we practice in small little chunks, our brains do really well with small changes at a time. Makes the bigger things a lot easier. And all of this is normal. It's normal for our brains to try to keep us safe, but sometimes they keep us in the comfortable, and then we're not growing. And sometimes we're actually bored or unhappy when there's really nothing that our brain needs to be keeping us safe from. I mean, it's a survival mechanism, but sometimes it works against us. Because your manager telling you that you have to try a new position that you've never done before is super, super scary. But you might love it. That's what happened to me. My job that I was at for 11 years, I walked in one day, told me I had to wait tables, which I had never done before. I was terrified of it. Never wanted to do that. But on the spot, I fought it for a little while, but it didn't work. They needed me. They needed help, and I had to do it. And I was not okay with it, but it worked out. I ended up serving for years, and I became pretty good at it, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't switch positions back when I could. I stayed with it. So that's my example of, I know firsthand sometimes, even when you are super convinced that you're gonna hate it and that's gonna be terrible, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it might be, and then and then it's a lesson, and maybe you don't ever have to do it again. But you don't know until you try. And a lot of the times we keep ourselves small just out of fear when it's not realistic. We don't really know that it's gonna be that bad, right? It's just our brains telling us that, because our brains don't like change. But change isn't inherently bad, and trying new things is not inherently bad. That's what makes life exciting. That's where if you never tried anything new, you wouldn't know the things that you do like now. They were new at some point. So that's all I'm saying is, go into it expecting it to be new, and just think of it as a challenge. Think of it as a way to grow, and that you might come out the other side super excited. You might love it. You might start doing it all the time. It's also, that's the point of being on Earth, right? We're here to learn. We're here to experience all the experiences. We're not just here to experience constant happiness. It's okay to experience some negative. We're supposed to. We're humans. That's what we're supposed to feel. We're supposed to feel a little bit of everything. Doesn't mean, you know, stay stuck there. But when you kind of go in with a mindset knowing like this is normal and this is okay, and that it's okay to let myself be a little bit uncomfortable, it kind of detaches you a little bit from the fear. And it kind of gives your brain a different way to look at it. And it helps me a lot. I mean, I still have to say that to myself all the time. But it's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. That's what we're here for. Try it, and then you know. It builds confidence. It builds self-trust, some independence. It gets things done sometimes. You know, sometimes those things that you've been procrastinating on because you are a little bit intimidated by them. Tell yourself that you can do it. And tell yourself that it'll be okay. And start with something small. Start with small things and encourage yourself. Be a friend to yourself. And then know that it's okay and normal if the experience isn't perfect. And that it's okay. Because it is. We're all gonna be okay. Just practice. Practice being a little bit uncomfortable. And you will be able to accomplish new things, and it won't be so scary. It will help with anxiety. It will help with learning to be more confident in yourself and know that you can do hard things and get through it, and it's okay because you have already. You've already done new and different things, and you've survived it. And sometimes it's worked out and sometimes it hasn't. But it almost makes it worse when we kind of obsess on just what might be negative, and it kind of blows it up in our head and makes it a little bit of a bigger deal than it needs to be, which I've done that my whole life. So I know firsthand it's terrible when you let your brain just kind of take you down the fear rabbit hole. Speaking of rabbits, I made you an Easter bunny, which I've not done before. That's my first time. So I was multitasking. I was challenging myself to do something new while I was talking to you. So I was probably a little bit off track, and it might not be the best Easter bunny ever, but I tried it. I did it. There it is. I hope this helps. I believe in you guys. Try new things. Try something new. Challenge yourself. Make it just something small. And it might be exciting. And it's normal to feel a little bit unscared, or a little bit scared and uncomfortable at first. That is totally normal. Totally okay. Let it be okay and just practice. I don't want fear and anxiety to control and hold you back like I've done in the past. So, happy Easter, and I'll see you guys later.